Hi, and welcome to Tim and Joel, Call It in the Ring. It's Thursday night, and we're ready to talk a little bit about this past week in wrestling. Joel, oh my God, I just let our show play through the audio a little bit, so nobody else had to hear that, but I did, and it was a little bit terrible. Anyway, this is pretty amateurish, so how's it going, Joel?
I thought we were about to do a whole intro thing, and then that happened.
I just blew everything up. You know what? It's a weird Thursday. I've looked at too many spreadsheets to be a functional human being. So this is who I am now.
A functional human being who looks at spreadsheets.
But only functional in regards to spreadsheets, not so much to wrestling.
Well, if you want to be a functional spreadsheet watcher of wrestling, you can leave us some tip jar love over at streamlabs.com/TimandJoelPod. You can also find us every single weekend over at PW Unlimited, where we do our weekly draw series. As we've seen, the weekly draw is not only a lot of fun, but also nothing ever happens as we are told it will. So, it's fun. You can do that. You can like the video, and you can subscribe to us on YouTube. That always helps. Tim and Joel Pod is literally everywhere you find us. And finally, because I am on Fightful Gaming streams every single week. This week it's going to be on Sunday because Impact has Hard to Kill on Saturday. Twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. That's where you go. By the way, I was modding one of their chats earlier today, and Tim, Tank Bear Claw put you over real hard.
What?
Yeah,
no.
Man. Yes.
How? I don't do anything. I'm very much undeserving of that. Continue.
He loves Tim's takes.
Okay, so I'll publicly mention that he is by far the best Twitter follow I have ever had. Not a big fan of Twitter. I try to be on it. I try to enjoy it. Mostly it just makes me sad, but Tank picks me up. So good.
Follow Tim. Everybody
Mutual
go
respect.
follow Tim right now.
Yeah, make me enjoy Twitter, because right now it's dark times.
Oh, well, let's dive into it, shall we? A lot of not much better news to get into. So let's start with Monday, when WWE.com officially announced that Drew McIntyre, the WWE champion, tested positive for COVID-19.
Yeah.
This is the first time that they have publicly announced it through WWE.com. Obviously, other wrestlers have tested positive, and we've seen a bunch come up over the week through AEW. People are kind of selective as to whether or not they want to put it out there. But here's the Fightful Select article for you. WWE announced Monday, January 11th, that Drew McIntyre had tested positive for COVID-19 and was in quarantine, but he's far from the only one coming out of a busy holiday season. Stay at home, wear a mask, it's not hard. Another string of positive COVID tests hit the wrestling world. We're told that shows from WWE, All Elite Wrestling, and Impact Wrestling were all affected, with several matches and appearances nixed as a result of this. Sources within WWE said that they expected positive test results after the holidays, and they were surprised that things weren't worse considering the circumstances. Impact Wrestling taped they are taping a couple of weeks worth of shows this weekend and into next week. AEW filmed 2 weeks worth of shows last week, and Fightful also gained confirmation that people set for Raw, SmackDown, AEW, and Impact tapings were affected as a result. The good news is Drew is apparently asymptomatic or just has very light symptoms. He also accepted Goldberg's Royal Rumble challenge, which I know is something that we were all looking forward to. And he also appeared on a CES branded stream through Global VC, which is Venture Community. That was a sports panel that was this past Wednesday on Zoom. He discussed his background. His Zoom screen name, by the way, is Big Mac until he was told to change it. And of course, he put over WWE. Oh no, actually, the host put over WWE's COVID protocols, but
okay,
they're not.
Well, I mean,
not that great.
Yeah, like. As far as people sharing it publicly, I don't care what people do. That's like kind of a personal decision. What matters to me is them being like, "Oh, it could have been worse." Most of the industries that are allowed to continue to operate are operating in a way where it's, it's none. Like the film industry, it basically has to be none. Like for the movies that are getting made, there shouldn't be anyone testing positive. And every time that a single person tests positive, they shut down everything for like 2 weeks. It's just a difference in attitude. Like you can really tell that like it's just different the way that things are being handled in the U.S. Like it's just like, we're all, healthy.
I have friends who are in different states, I won't name names because I don't want to go there, who are gigging musicians and decided this week they didn't want to gig, but someone else took the gig for them. But they've been gigging throughout the pandemic. They've been playing in restaurants, no problems. It's not good, man. Just wear a mask. Get this shit over with.
Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. Choices.
And on top of it, I know a lot of people talk about how wrestlers have maybe a heightened immune system because of their health. They're in good shape, the most of them.
Some of them, maybe.
Some of them, maybe. But a guy like Drew, who comes off asymptomatic, and therefore he's not, the odds of him having long-term issues are, A, still to be seen, but B, lessened because of his health. At the same time, we've seen wrestlers in, say, Mexico who have had positive COVID tests and had long-term detriments to their lungs and other illnesses that kind of keep going on.
Yeah, I don't know any of the science on it.
Nobody does.
It could be genetic. Like, it could have nothing to do with how physically fit you are. It just could be how your cells react to this illness. So, fit or not, healthier people have a better shot at it, but how it affects people seems to be pretty much a crapshoot. So,
let's talk about our best friend Chris Jericho.
Okay.
Yes, Chris Jericho came out shortly after Young Bucks member Nick Jackson came out and said that he had tested positive for COVID. They both did. With Jackson, his post was very heartfelt, trying to explain what had happened and the timeline, explaining that he couldn't really work matches. He was bedridden the last few months when he had already been cleared to compete. He was still having trouble breathing, and that it took his aunt, and he was very serious, wear a mask and take this thing seriously. Cool. Then Jericho comes out, and by the way, the week before on his podcast had a COVID conspiracy theorist because Jericho's just, let's get it out there in the open. What he's doing is shitty.
He's a Trump supporter and he's a bad person.
He's not a good person. And the stuff that he's putting out there, he has the numbers to go out, and he has the reach. And for him to go out and use his platform, use his reach to put shit like this out there is garbage. So, of course, Chris Jericho comes out in his latest podcast and says, oh, yeah, I had COVID. I didn't know I had it. And I quarantined for 10 days, and I was totally fine. It was around September, I think. He still wrestled on Dynamite throughout that time.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
And I know
lines up.
Dave Meltzer came out today and was like, oh, Jericho, said he got it from a family friend, and then he quarantined from the rest of his family, and then he was fine, and that's that. There's no story here. Well, I'm sorry, Dave, but there is a story here, because at the end of the day, Jericho went to Sturgis. He downplayed the entire thing. He also told everyone that, COVID's not real and that the president stole the election and all this other bullshit. And next thing you know, he got sick, or at least he says he got sick. So the question is, did he really get sick?
I just super doubt it. I don't know.
I think he's trying to play on some sympathy. That's my feeling towards Jericho.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about it. I'm just annoyed with it all.
Yes, and that's the extent of the COVID talk. Oh, other than some NXT stuff we'll talk about afterwards. Just with how the PC is dealing with COVID. By the way, it's still not good. Instead, hey, Tim, will you face me in a match one-on-one?
What?
Yeah. Why don't you face me in a match? Oh, or is the problem that your partner has your balls in her purse and you won't fight me?
Oh, yeah. A couple of not great lines in a couple of shows this week. That wasn't great. That was a little bit weird.
That is the go-to line for Triple H now.
Oh.
The being challenged and being told Stephanie McMahon must have your balls in her purse. Come on, dude.
I don't know. He's projecting some insecurities, I think. I don't know.
I think so. Well, meanwhile, Alexa Bliss won that match between Randy Orton and Triple H because she shot a friggin' fireball right in Randy Orton's
Can we also talk about how she made Triple H just disappear?
Yes.
She disappeared him.
Where in the world is Triple H?
I don't know. Presumably in a purse. I don't know.
The whole of him is now in a purse.
Yeah, big giant purse. And it's shaped like the Fiend's face. You can make a pretty good purse out of the Fiend's mask.
Yeah. I mean, now that he's
spooky as hell. Good
he's
merch
been melted down.
Totally. That's where
he
is.
can use the skin. My God,
What are we
I'm so glad we make merch for this company.
I know.
All
What a
right,
great
WWE
job.
Digital has learned that Randy Orton suffered minor burns to the face. I love this.
I'm sure he
Following
did.
a fireball attack by Alexa Bliss on Raw.
I feel
So,
like Keith Lee was more in harm's way with that little book than whatever we witnessed. But
yeah, exactly. My question really is like, so Randy Orton's the Viper. He's the snake, right?
ooh, yeah.
Why wouldn't he wear an eye patch? Is he is he afraid that someone will call him Snake the One-Eyed Man, like Escape from New York or something?
Oh my
Is that what
god.
we're doing?
No, look, they've already used it. Like Rey Mysterio's still around somewhere, presumably, wearing
That's true.
Gucci.
Well,
A
he was
Gucci
on
eye patch,
SmackDown.
probably. He was? Oh yeah, he was. He definitely
It
was. He
was
wrestled. He wrestled for so long.
there. You go. I thought he was going to go all the way, and we'll talk about SmackDown later on.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was the end of Raw, and it was fine. There was a burning hammer.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's. I'm glad that Alexa showed up so that story, whatever it may be, is advanced a little bit. You know what? I'm also like, I was happy that it turned into like something that wasn't Drew versus Randy. I mean, obviously not for these circumstances, but like I didn't really want to see that match again. So like, this was more interesting than that would have been, I think.
Yeah, I can get behind that, and I don't know. I for what they had to deal with, I get it.
Yeah.
They had to change on the fly, and they had to do something because of the college bowl game. They weren't going to do much better than Triple H, I guess. I guess.
College like football.
Yes.
There's a football match.
Yes.
Going up against.
Yeah, I know you're not. I'm not much of a sports guy, but that I knew.
Look. I'm like a kind of a sports guy. I don't watch college athletes because I don't get it.
I don't get you.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm an enigma.
Wrapped in a. I don't have the rest of that thing.
It's
wrapped in a
nougat.
sandwich.
Wrapped in nougat.
All right. So where were all the champions on Monday? That's my question.
You got Bobby Lashley. What more do you want, sir? You got Bobby Lashley.
You got Charlotte.
Yeah, we got Charlotte. But we would have gotten Charlotte no matter what, right? Like she's going to be on every damn show, and you're going to like it, and you're not going to give any guff about it because she is beloved.
Don't say that too loud. She will come after you.
I know. That's why I'm saying it. This is one of the things I saw. I don't see many things, but I saw that. Yeah, I don't know. She doesn't take the criticism well, I guess. There's no, like, she does fine, just a little bit less. Not all the time.
I think the biggest problem that we have with Charlotte in terms of the external factors is just the fact that every time someone like Triple H is asked something in a media call, he always says, "Don't worry, it's all going to make sense." And it hasn't made sense.
It often does not, yeah.
And then when he's asked to make sense of it, he says, well, the pandemic kind of ruined everything. And you're like, dude, you said this in June. The pandemic had already been in full swing. Like, you knew what was going on. So Charlotte was there. Later on, R-Truth was on Raw Talk, so obviously he was there. But backstage and not used included your women's champion, Asuka, your tag team champion, Cedric Alexander, and Shelton Benjamin, Ricochet, who we know is... The people are talking about whether or not he's signing a contract or re-signing anytime soon. Sure, I get it. Nikki Cross wasn't there, but it seems like most of the people who weren't there, it was non-COVID related.
This was the show they wanted to stand up, I guess.
And instead we had to watch matches repeated.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt like I'm trying to stay positive. There were like okay moments, but it was really lackluster. Like I was just not awake through most of it. Like I'm trying to remember some of the things that happened, and I saw it. I watched it all, some parts a couple times, but like, I don't know.
So, okay, I'll play the nice game for a second. And the people who did play or pull double duty included Riddle, face Lashley, and then MVP. Keith Lee and Sheamus, they tagged together versus Miz and Morrison, and then they had that random one-on-one match, sure. And then Jeff Hardy, who had a match with Jackson Riker for whatever reason, and then Elias, for some other reason. Keith Lee and Sheamus, definitely of everyone who had to pull double duty, came out on top of this. Had a great one-on-one match, had a good tag team match. So I'll give it that much in terms of the positivity that you so long for.
Yeah.
Is that all you got for me?
Like it was it was odd just having those double matches. Like MVP wrestled without gear, in his like loafers, which was interesting. I thought that was good. Like, you know, the Riddle Lashley thing. It's just weird to like, because Lashley like destroys everyone still.
What are they building him for? I would love to say that they're building him for a WWE Championship run. It's the only title he hasn't seen in all of his years, and he had it in Impact. He's had it in other companies he's been to. Lashley is the guy who's being kept strong, but kept strong for what?
Yeah, like this show felt like a holding pattern type thing, right? Like clearly there was some chaos that ensued, and they just had to tread water for this week. I'm hoping that we see some more advancement this week. Like, it would have been nice to see Goldberg, even if Drew isn't there. Like, you know.
You are one of very few people to say that and mean it.
Like, if he's in the picture, at least let him promote his match. Like, I want to see him at least, like, 3 weeks in a row before the match. That's so. Once you've introduced it. I want to see him kick punch the air at least 2 or 3 times, and then do his 5 minutes in the ring and then disappear for another year. Now that he's been introduced. Again, my preference is that he's just not there, retired. But if he must be there, at least do it normal.
They did do the promo.
Yeah,
they did do that. Yeah. It's as good as it's going to get for now, I think, especially given I don't think I don't think they knew what was going on with Drew McIntyre when the news hit.
Scary.
Yeah.
That does not sound like a well-run ship to me.
Normally when your champion goes down with an illness that nobody knows much about, it kind of throws things into disarray.
Oh, yeah.
But it seems like Drew was the one who not only said, you know, I want to be up and honest and in front of this, but it seems like he also wanted to go and represent the company and thinks that he can have that match in, 2 weeks? On the 31st, so
I'm just
obviously
saying,
there's room for it there.
With the money, power, and staff and talent that they have, you'd think they'd have some contingency plans in place. No, like given the situation in the world, how hard is that?
The contingency plan is one guy who thinks he can think on the fly.
That's like, this is a public company, and I encourage people who invest their money to consider that.
They do.
This would be unforgivable in any other line of business. So,
but the problem is they continue to hold record-setting profits for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I'm playing devil's advocate here. I agree with you, but I think the problem that a lot of fans, including myself, get into is that creative drives the product when there is money beyond the creative that they're absolutely hitting home, and they get huge TV deals. And yes, the ratings do not reflect that, but they get huge TV deals. They have huge social media reach. They have a lot of brand positivity behind the name WWE.
Yeah, no kidding. And like, you know, a hefty line item over these years, I'm sure, is like the Saudi shows too. So.
Oh, 100%.
So like, they're being supplemented in interesting ways to me, but.
Yeah. Well,
just make a plan, man. It just makes everyone's life easier, your own included.
I had some contract talk. It's contract season. I'll put it like this. A lot of members of WWE, not members, wrestlers, superstars, whatever you want to call them, have been offered contracts. Some have signed, some have not signed, including Matt Riddle, who apparently has not re-signed with WWE, despite a report earlier last month that he had. Ricochet also has not re-signed, as far as we understand it. And members of Retribution were given contracts, and some of them are just kind of waiting it out because we're in a weird kind of holding pattern with COVID-19 and not being able to travel. House shows are out of the way. There's nothing going on. So they'd rather wait it out and see if there's either leverage to be held or just other opportunities beyond WWE. Yeah. Is there anything from Raw that you really, really want to go back, talk about, rebook, or just emphasize?
Let me look at my little notesy notes. For AJ and Omos, whatever his name is, because
it's both.
It's both, yeah. It's a human being, and the commentators have different ways of saying his name from week to week. Him and AJ, like, it's a funny bit. I like Elias as a character, and I think he has potential. I'm disappointed that Jackson Riker has been paired with him. And so, like, I didn't really love, like, the Jackson, Jeff Hardy, followed by Jeff Hardy, Elias bit. They were button heads. I'd like to see him switch them up. Just swap buddies. Let's put Amos with Elias. He's a fan of music, as previously established last week. And Jackson Riker could go with AJ Styles. You know,
maybe Jackson Riker could go with Pink Slip.
Yeah, that too. I mean, that's obviously the preferable option, but this is, again, WWE. So
right.
I'm just trying to be practical here.
I also like how you didn't try to get Riker with Omos. Wonderful.
I mean,
we're just gonna leave that alone. But I don't disagree. I think it could be interesting. I think it'd be really fun to watch Omos, who is this big bodyguard type, trying to front for Elias, who is a musician, but he's also big and built, so it makes it a little more awkward. Whereas AJ is like this tiny, like, pit bull guy.
Yeah, but like,
so
it's
he
like
can hide behind Omos.
It's based on mutual respect. You know, like maybe Amos and AJ get into it. They have a little thing eventually. I assume that's where we're going. I don't even know if Amos can wrestle. No idea. I assume he can.
They're working on it.
Okay.
He had that great cradle slam at TLC where
he can't look. He has the range of motion much better than Great Khali, so he can do better. He'll be fine.
So that's a low bar.
That's WWE Championship material, baby.
Oh no, you're right. All right. Speaking of WWE champions, here's a former women's champion who actually told Ashley Graham on her Pretty Big Deal podcast that she would like to join the WWE creative team, and that's Nikki Bella. Now, this kind of incited some fans with words of unfriendliness towards the idea. People weren't super into it. And to me, it doesn't make sense why you wouldn't want someone who's seen success as a talent, success as an executive producer on her own show, success in her brand ownership, someone who is a very, very interesting woman with a very, very interesting background, and her brother-in-law is also part-time creative. Why wouldn't you want that on your team?
Who's Ashley Graham?
And people in chat saying divas are back, baby. No, they're not. Because if you watch with Evolution and when she came back, the woman had a lot to offer beyond just being a good-looking human being. Like, she was a talented wrestler.
I don't really know who Nikki Bella is, other than...
Oh, that's right, because you came in way late to this gimmick, didn't you?
Yeah. Like, that was during the time when I wasn't watching wrestling. Is she talented?
You've heard of Total Bellas, Total Divas?
Yeah, I'm aware of the broad array of reality television that WWE programs that I have no interest in.
Okay, so that's fair. So if we go back far enough into the early 2010s, and listen, we all knew about the Divas era. It was more about beautiful women on screen than it was about women who could wrestle.
I mean, that was women's wrestling for up until like 10 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, it was up until about 2014. So yeah. Nikki Bella and her sister were two who were pretty well known, actually very well known in terms of just casual fans. People were Nikki Bella fans. She held the title the women's title or the Divas title for a very long time. They spun off, they did Total Divas, then they spun that off and they did Total Bellas. And again, she is an executive producer on that show. So storylines are something that she knows. She had success as a talent, whether or not she was with John Cena, which she was for a time, and they almost got married.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah. I knew that part. I saw that, and I was like, nope, not time to come back to wrestling yet.
Well,
wasn't that WrestleMania? Didn't he propose at WrestleMania? And I was like, because I would watch WrestleMania every year, but that was like it, like the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, and I was like, no, I'm not ready to watch this full time again.
Honestly, it's a slam dunk idea. I'm just going to say it flat out. It's a great addition to a company that thrives on marketable ideas. And again, she goes on this podcast. She speaks highly of Sasha Banks, of Alexa Bliss, of Liv Morgan, of Rhea Ripley, who she says multiple times should be called up by now.
Yeah.
And you know what? There need to be more women in that writing room who aren't of the last name Warrior. I'll put it like that.
So here's my take on it from what I've gathered just now. Look, from what I do know about the WWE creative team is that they've driven a lot of people who really wanted to write for wrestling out of it. Like they did not keep them around. So frankly, someone who knows the business and is actually interested in doing the work is welcome in there, because God knows they need help. So.
All right. And we can use some help too. If you go over to TipJar and you go to streamlabs.com/TimandJoelPod, you can do that. You can like this video. You can subscribe to us on YouTube at Tim and Joel Pod. Or you can come and watch me play video games with Jeremy Lambert on Fightful Gaming this coming Sunday night on twitch.tv/FightfulGaming. Okay? Okay. Impact's Hard to Kill is this Saturday. I know you're going to be watching. Am I going to be watching?
Are you?
Yes, okay. I am. I will. Saturday, 8 p.m. on Fight TV and traditional pay-per-view. Let's just run down the card real quick for those who want it. The Elite, that's Kenny Omega, Doc Gallows, and Carl Anderson. By the way, they're not really the Elite, so it's the Elite. Taking on Impact Wrestling Champion Rich Swann and the Motor City Machine Guns. It's Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. By the way, Gallows and Anderson are the Impact Tag Team Champions, so that'll be a good match. For the Impact Knockouts Championship, Deonna Purrazzo defends her title against Taya Valkyrie. Taya, who's been around forever in Impact. Looking forward to that match.
This will be good.
Barbed Wire Massacre is going to be between Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan. Sure, why not? Let's just get this feud over and done with, please.
Where were they? Where were they this week?
Wrapped in barbed wire in that promo or something.
I don't know. Maybe Ken Shamrock got COVID. I don't know.
No, they already taped like months ago.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
For the Impact X Division Championship, it's a triple threat match between Manik, Chris Bay, Rohit Raju. I could have sworn it was a four-way, but maybe I'm wrong. No, it's not. You're right. Manik, aka TJ, go F yourself. And
Why does
Chris
everyone
Bay
hate
awesome.
TJP? I literally don't know.
He is a piece of garbage human being.
Oh, he's good in the ring.
That, so are a lot of people, but no, he's not good. He's garbage as a human.
The only thing I saw wasn't that bad, so I don't know.
Tank Bear Claw, tell him offline. Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championship Tournament Final between Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz taking on Havoc and Nevaeh. I'm really, again, looking forward to that match. Hogan and Steelz have been absolutely hilarious in their promos. And then this past week, that go home with Havoc and Nevaeh kind of picking them up against the wall and, stopping them from being annoying. I liked it. It's a good promo.
Yeah.
Old school rules match, whatever that means, between Eric Young, Joe Doring, and Diener taking on Tommy Dreamer, Rhino, and Cousin Jake. Cousin Jake going for that ECW rub.
Yeah.
Please change Cousin Jake. Let him get the win. Ethan Page takes on the Karate Man. Interesting because Ethan Page is the
same
Karate
guy.
Man, right?
I'm very curious how they're going to do this. I was like, okay. It's weird. It's a weird gimmick. We'll see.
He's something else. Rosemary and Crazy Steve are going to take on Tennille Dashwood and Caleb with a K. And then on the pre-show, Josh Alexander is going to take on the last professional wrestler or the most professional wrestler, Brian Myers.
It's good. Cool. That's a packed card, man.
Looking forward to that. And also your new commentary team for Impact is Matt Stryker and D'Lo Brown. So happy because Josh Matthews, he's not gone. And quite frankly, this is a better deal for him. He is now a senior producer with Impact, which is
great.
Excellent. And Madison Rain, she's going to announce her plans on Saturday. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be a part-time wrestler with a backstage producer role. Impact kind of tapes in staggered months at a time type of thing. So there has been talk about Madison taking on another role in another job outside of wrestling. She's not going to talk about that on a pay-per-view show. So my expectation is that wrestler and backstage producer, basically the Gail Kim role.
Works for me. It felt like they were really going out of their way this week to make you want that new announcer team. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a good pairing.
Oh, I've been wanting that for a long time.
It felt special this week. I don't know what it was, but I think maybe it was just the knowledge that something different was coming. So it stood out for me a little bit.
Fair. And Tank Bear Claw said, how TJP hasn't blocked me is amazing. So that's just all you need to know.
Well, if Tank doesn't like him, then I trust that. I don't know. But Tank's not about him. TJP ain't shit then.
Fine, whatever. All right, last night we had NXT and AEW. What do you want to talk about first? I'm giving it to you, the fan.
Me, the fan?
Yes, you the fan.
NXT. Let's talk about NXT first.
All right, well, let's start with the Women's Dusty Cup because that's going to start very soon. And 4 teams have already been announced. We have Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter. We have Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell making up the way. We have Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. Called it. We have Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez.
Yeah, didn't call that one. That was different.
Yeah. And they will announce more. There are more to come. Dakota Kai still trapped in the locker in the PC, so they got to kind of fish her out. Although she did just post the funniest Bus It Challenge video I was telling you offline. Go and find it if you can because, it's fun. It's good.
Good stuff. All
right. And then the Men's Dusty Cup has begun.
It has begun. There were matches, 3 of them.
Yeah.
And some on 2 on 5 Live. I don't know. Wasn't there 3? I thought it was 3.
Oh, it was 3 next week.
There were 3. No, there were 3 this week. Wasn't there?
I don't think so.
Okay, go through that. Okay. Go through the show. Let's talk.
I'm pretty sure. Oh no, there was 3. There was 3.
Vindication. You're the wrestling guy. You're the big guy. You're the big guy.
Yeah, I know. It's because they promoted 2, and we talked about it on Weekly Draw, and then they brought out the MSK match. So,
which was that's my hit this week. They looked tremendous. So good. Damn, that was good. Very exciting and satisfying to see them debut and get the win, which was also surprising, and be so good while doing it. Like, that was an excellent match. Excellent.
I have my my bracket up and filled out on my Twitter. If you go and find it at Troll Pearl, I have MSK going to the finals.
Yeah. Good. Damn good. Hot damn. Like, they revamped them. I was no fan of the Rascals. Like, I was a fan of them and their wrestling. The gimmick was like for me. This feels fresh. The name is weird. I don't know what it means, but it also, like, I don't care, because, like, if you put on an in-ring performance and you have a good enough look like that, you're set.
Middle school kids.
That's very funny. Is that what it is?
No, marijuana smoking kids.
No, can we drop the weed crap? There's got to be 800 bloody tag teams in, like, indie wrestling where their gimmick is, I like weed.
Must smoke kush.
Oh, that was on point. That was very similar to was it Vic who mentioned, like, these rascals are flying?
Yes, that's right. Mighty silly kids. I don't know.
Anyway, I don't care what it stands for, but they look good and they wrestled like crazy well. Came out with a bang. So
they did, and they took on the team of who was it?
Atlas and Isaiah.
Atlas and Isaiah Swerve Scott. Thank you. I have it here, and I just yeah. So first of all, MSK, their names are Nash Carter and Wesley. The former Zachary Wentz is now going by Nash Carter. Wesley is Desmond Xavier. Cool, whatever. Listen, they're not the best names. The only thing I want is for Nash Carter and Caden Carter to end up being like half siblings or step siblings of some sorts. I think it'd be very funny. And they're actually EC3's like brother and sister, and they're related to Dixie Carter.
Oh my God.
I'm just trying to make it all make sense up here, okay?
It doesn't even matter that much, man. Like, half of the best tag teams were nothing. Like, they weren't, like, there was no gimmick to them. They're just, like, it was what they put out. Like, Edge and Christian were just Edge and Christian. Like,
they were brothers when they started.
They were, yeah, exactly. See, I don't remember that because it doesn't bloody matter. They were guys who came out in mesh shirts, but, oh, wait. There's another team at the same time of guys who came out in mesh shirts, and that was their whole gimmick. Like, you know, I don't care.
Great matches, though. By the way,
amazing.
So the Rascals now as MSK, they had that standing push off shooting star press thing that they do.
Always so good, yeah.
They're calling that Hot Fire Flame, according to Nash Carter. So
that's a real bad name.
that's a bad name.
Why don't they call it Nashville Hot Chicken or some shit?
Nash's Hot Chicken.
Come on. 5 seconds. That's all that took, and that's not even good.
All right, going back to the match, I do like that you can have the swerve heel turn happen within the match, and now Bronson Reed's kind of included, so you're getting somewhere with that, and I think that's served its purpose. Other matches from the show, of course, we had the main event. We had Undisputed Era with Cole and Roddy moving on, defeating Breezango. I know you weren't the biggest fan of that outcome. Please
Let
tell me why.
Breezango win. Damn it. But
Good
don't let them cup anymore because it ruins the whole like thing.
What? It's the most Breezango thing you can think of is that they're into cupping.
No, yeah. Them being into cupping is fine, but put makeup on it. You're coming out and you're like I don't know, what do you call that? I'm trying to think of the right comparison what their characters are. They're like ladies' men, maybe. But they're like
They were fashion police.
I don't want to say Adonis because they're not nearly that attractive. Yeah, like that fashion police, like fashionistas. You know, they're like Zoolander types. They're not going to come out with like cupping marks all over their back. You're showing off your chest. Like he made a point of taking his shirt off before the match. Put some makeup on.
Because he's super good looking.
Yeah, but the back isn't. Put some makeup on.
All right, and Grizzled Young Vets had a great showing and a great promo. Moving on after defeating Everrise. By the way, Everrise are still a really good tag team.
I know, it's not fair.
We can say that because we're Canadian, but it means a lot more because we're Canadian. So support Everrise. But
let Everrise win, damn it.
Yes, put them on 205 Live to win more.
Oh,
they're already on
205 Live. Because then I'll never see them.
There we go. I talked about 205 Live. Whoever was asking in the chat. I hope you're happy. Next week, we're going to have Gargano in Theory, also known as The Way, taking on... I don't remember who they're taking on.
Yeah, I don't either.
Oh, it's Kushida and...
yes, we do. There was a whole thing. They built it. Kushida came out. It was awesome.
I have it written down, and then I just... Yeah. So anyway, that match is next week. And then on to... That's Kushida and... Who the hell is it? Because it's not in my notes.
Leon Ruff.
Leon Ruff. Rough Hour.
What? I thought I started the show rough, man.
Yeah, I'm the rough one.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, on 205 Live, there will be a bunch of matches that were announced and will be happening, including Legado del Fantasma, that's Walking Wild, and Raul Mendoza. They are going to be facing the Bollywood Boys. We have Drake Maverick and Killian Dane. They will be taking on Kurt Stallion and August Gray. Tony Nese and Arya Davari are going to take on Ashanti, the Adonis, and Desmond Troy. You know what? It's going to get me to watch 205 Live for a few weeks because they have had some really good matches. Easy to watch 30-minute show.
Yeah, I mean, it's crummy. I hope they surprise me on one of the tag victories there, because right now I feel like I'll watch it and I know Killian and Drake are going to win and Legado is going to win. So it's like, why did I need a little bit of suspense, you know? Like,
that's fair. And then we'll also have Lucha House Party and Imperium next week on NXT.
Did Lucha just get demoted? Like, what is going on?
No, man, they're all over the shows. They'll be everywhere. Oh, man. All right. So we got through MSK and we got through the Dusty Classic. What about Finn? Finn and Pete.
Cut a good promo. It felt good. Kyle got his little mouth all bloody. I don't know. Like, did they give him like a little pill or something to do that, or did he hurt his actually hurt face?
I think this time we had a blood capsule.
Had to, right?
It wasn't as bad as the Roman Reigns one once upon a time.
No, it was tasteful. This was tastefully done.
Yeah, they did that with Roman once, where he like coughed up blood all over the wall, and it just looked like the capsule. He like popped it in his mouth and immediately spit it out. It was very, very awkward. Anyway,
yeah, I've seen a lot of people do it bad. I don't know. Like, it's not that hard. It really isn't.
So listen, it's fairly straightforward. We're going to get Finn and Pete done. That's great. But really, we're just trying to get to Finn and Cross. But is there a world in your eyes where Pete Dunne, as NXT champion, takes on Karrion Kross?
No.
Does it make sense?
Well, maybe. Like, it depends what Finn's doing. Like, to have him exit it at this time would seem like a really weird decision. They're building Pete up, but he lost the contendership match for this, so they have to walk that back first too. Like, I don't know. It's gonna be a journey if that's where they want to take it. I would like to see Finn and Karrion though, because I think if anyone can kind of elevate Karrion's stuff, I think Finn would be pretty good at it.
Yeah, I think that makes more sense because they're going to want to make Cross a big star again. With Finn, he has... You can save that Finn cachet with him in NXT by having Dunne win the championship and then have Cross demolish Pete Dunne. Yeah. And then maybe Finn comes back to wrestle Cross. I don't know. There's some dynamic in which Finn doesn't get completely destroyed.
Yeah, I'm picturing Pete Dunne and Carrion together, and like the joint manipulation stuff is just not gonna. I don't know. Like, I don't see it being that engaging.
That's fair. Well, speaking of not that engaging, NXT versus COVID round 46. We'll go back to Fightful Select. Plenty of frustrated names at the WWE Performance Center, which has been tradition as of late since pandemic started. Trainees are back at the PC full-time, training 5 days a week in the midst of a pandemic. Those that we've spoken to at the Performance Center say that they are typically only COVID-19 tested once a week and train the rest of the week. WWE had initially been doing virtual classes before a few days a week.
I feel like virtual classes for wrestling would be difficult.
Could do it for acting, promo classes.
Yeah, I mean, the whole of WWE could use a little bit of that. So,
yeah,
take this as an opportunity.
Once again, wear your mask, socially distance. God, the numbers are going up. Let's try and work on that, shall we, folks? The little things. Speaking of the little things, you can leave us some tip jar love over streamlabs.com/TimandJoelPod. Okay, maybe like the video. Maybe subscribe to us on YouTube, huh? TimandJoelPod.com? Yeah, okay.
Get it up there.
Anything from NXT that you really, really, really like and want to put out?
I think I've already gushed enough about MSK coming out, debuting, winning their thing. They did a great job. Shotzi Candice match was really good too.
It was. Not a huge fan of Indy coming in and getting involved, but it's going to lead to that tag team match.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's going to lead to Candice and Indy taking on Shotzi and Ember Moon down the line, so I'm fine with it. It'll be good. Let's move on to AEW, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, you were really into the show. Super into it. Loved it.
Every minute. You know what? It was pretty good. There were a lot of good moments. Yeah, like it didn't like grip my attention the entire time, but like thinking back on it, I was like, no, I paid a solid amount of attention to it. It was really engaging. There were a number of really solid matches. So,
Darby Allin and Brian Cage had a very, very good match that was 8 months in the making. I hadn't really realized this at first until Taz and Excalibur brought it to my attention. Cage and Up and Pinder submitted an AEW until last night.
Yeah, like
really big fan.
We were talking about their long-term storytelling, and for the most part, they haven't been the best at it. This has been a bit of an exception. Although, like, the Sting introduction to it gave them a bit more stuff to go off, I guess. But, like, I still don't really get the point of it. I guess he just feels bad for this scrappy little guy.
I don't know. I think Sting and what's-his-face, Darby Allin, still have a bit of there's a lot more for them to do.
Yeah, for sure.
We joked about it, maybe it's going to be the sponsor. The Sting is actually Darby's sponsor, and not his dad, not his uncle, but someone that he. Anyway, but again, one thing that AEW continues to do well is when they bring in legends, they have them partnered up with wrestlers to put them over, not to have a match with them.
Yeah,
and that's something that Sting is most likely going to do for us as watchers of wrestling. I think Sting is going to say, I like this kid. He reminds me of me. And I'm going to teach him the ways of the Crow and give him the bat at the end. And so at the end of it, it's going to be like the ceremonial giving of the bat to Darby Allin.
Like, I mean, it's cool. The only part that gets a little bit wonky for me is when it's like, he reminds me of me. And it's like, I mean, it's really just like the moody appearance. Like the moveset is different entirely. Right?
Oh yeah.
Like it's.
But there's a reason. There's a way that Sting can say, "Hey, you don't have to wrestle this way."
Yeah, which I think, like I mean, they keep telling that story with his weird little promos, like it's like Jackass but not impressive. So like, yeah. I feel like that's his. He's a sponsor in that way. It's like, dude, kid, you don't gotta kill yourself. You just gotta outthink your opponent. Like, right. Sure, they can throw you around, but. If you outsmart them, I say outsmart is like you got to do better than putting a belt around Cage's ankles, because it's like is that not a DQable offense? Like
never.
I don't know about that one.
That kind of made me laugh too.
Yeah, I was like that was a little bit weird. Beautiful job. It made Brian Cage look amazing in this match, even though he lost it. Like him catching Darby in that headlock, like choice. Very, very nice. And then throwing him like 10, 15 feet through tables out of the ring was great.
I was looking at NXT and I saw that spot. I had to look over. I was like, what the hell is this?
Like,
that was awesome.
That's
very big fan of that.
This is, again, the benefit of having smaller guys. Like, they can make other people look incredible. They can do cool stuff themselves. Like, it's that, like, the WWE's for a long time was like rigidly focused on like really big dudes, and it's like, you gotta have a good mix. Like, it makes everyone look better, and better to have variety. So,
and finally, can we talk about colored chyrons? Finally, for this match, we're gonna still talk about AEW. Did you see that?
Maybe
that the orange, the chyrons, the lower thirds.
Oh,
when they brought up for Brian Cage, it was all orange because he's Team Taz, and then for the TNT title, it's silver and red.
I did not notice that. That's awesome. That's a good look.
Really neat stuff. Yeah, I'm a fan of doing
that more. Yeah.
I think everyone with Team Taz will have that. Maybe if you're the Elite, you got the gold. I guess everyone has the gold right now, but different colors would be nice. Dark Order should all have purple and black.
It's an easy production touch that helps quite a bit. WWE does it sometimes with like font mostly. Like I think the Fiends is the Fiend font and like stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, they've done that with Luke Harper had that, going back to Brody and Bray Wyatt.
Have they been doing the floaty sky shapes in WWE lately?
What do you mean?
Those stupid 3D graphics.
The AR stuff. That's relegated to SmackDown.
Okay.
That's a Fox thing. Yeah.
Okay. I would like them to not do it at all, but I haven't seen it in a little while, so I got excited.
No, it's definitely a Fox thing. It's actually pretty. I don't hate
it.
We
have different opinions on this. I can't stand it.
I remember I was when I was at the Royal Rumble in Phoenix a couple of years ago. I remember because it was in a baseball stadium. When I went back and watched the show afterwards, I noticed that they had added all this AR, and I was like, "Oh, this is really cool." And other people were like, "No, this is garbage."
It's lame as hell, man. It looks so gaudy to me.
I don't like it when they're using the faces of people. So like when they have Lacey Evans doing her like this,
giant flip flops.
Yeah, stuff like that. So I've made this joke before. Someone in WWE in their management and the people who are creating these was like, let's do the horse because he has the stallion thing, and he's all about stallions. So why don't we make a big badass horse and it'll breathe fire? Blah, blah, blah. And someone's like, no, I'm going on vacation in 2 weeks. Let's just do flip flops.
Yeah, basically.
And now we have to look at flip flops.
So silly. It's so silly.
All right. Speaking of silly, I actually kind of liked Taikachi taking on Serena Deeb for the NWA Women's Championship.
It was solid. It was good.
Delivered. It was good. I think it's really cool inside outside of the ring that Taikachi not only comes to AEW but finds an actual friend on and off screen with Anna Jay, who's another young and upcoming wrestler, and they're both working with each other to get better.
Yeah.
And to have someone like Serena Deeb leading that match, it really shows that like Serena Deeb is an excellent coach, an excellent wrestler, and it all just kind of comes together really well when those two have a match with some good chemistry.
Yeah, and it was good. It was really entertaining. So,
yeah, listen, I've given the AEW Women's Division enough shit that this week I was impressed. I still don't like it as 9:30, whatever, it's fine. But it was what it was. Jade Cargill, some people were not too big on her appearance on the waiting room with Dr. Britt Baker. She has potential.
Yeah, it was better than the last time. She's still not good at cutting promos in like a very like weirdly off the mark way. So like it'll take quite a bit of time. I'm curious to see like if she's great in the ring, fine, it's worth it. Work with her, grow with her. But cool to see that they found an opponent for her. Again, weird way to get there through Cody. Also, did Cody win the Masters tournament at some point? Why does he have
a green ass jacket?
Like, who owns that? Why would you own that?
So, someone in the back was just like, "You should wear this. This would look good on you."
Oh my god! And they're just laughing their ass off.
And yeah, someone in the chat saying Jade looks like a star. Yes, she does.
She does. She's got like a great look. It's just she's got to learn how to transfer that into like the promo
putting it
stuff.
Together. Yeah, it's putting it together.
Which will take time. Like that's fine.
Yeah, and she's new, and everyone has said something positive about her when it comes to her training, inside and outside of AEW. It's been actually really cool to see people say, she showed up, And on her first day, she's like, I want to take as many bumps. I want to get, she's motivated. She's someone who wants to get better, and it'll take some time. Same thing we've talked about with Wardlow, who can deliver a good promo backstage when he has the net. But now the big question is going to be, how does Wardlow do it live in the ring?
Yeah.
And Jade's getting that now. She's getting it live in the ring. So we're going to get there.
Yeah.
I think.
They did a good job. Like, now we've got that set up. And we've got Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa set up. So, like, it feels now like, okay, now we can finally start paying attention to this women's division a little bit more. So it's good to see that there's some stuff slowly creeping in.
We're going to talk about it on PW Unlimited when we do our weekly draw, but I just saw this. You know what the match for Cody Rhodes is next week on Dynamite?
What? What
He's
now?
taking on Freddie Peter Avalon.
Why?
It's the Dark Losers World Tour for Cody. Promoting Big Show.
Yes, has he even been on Dynamite outside of just in the audience?
Avalon? Not really, no.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what?
We'll talk about it on PW Unlimited this Sunday. How's that? Okay. I just wanted to give you that because it's very funny. If anyone in the chat can tell us why they're doing that match, I would love to hear it. Instead, let's talk about Pac versus Eddie. It opened up the show. It was a very good match. And the only thing I really want to add to it is Eddie finding the camera finding Eddie Kingston every time will never not be cool and really funny. He had that memeable face from the top rope when he's been like knocked out. He's just like,
I mean, I don't know that that's how any human being would react to getting kicked in the face, but it was pretty funny. Like, it was off of a kick, so it's like, I don't know. But it was good. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. I like Pac. I like Eddie. It was good. It's good stuff.
Okay. So Evan in the chat is saying that Avalon had a bunch of wins in a row. Seems like it's a dark win streak award match.
Oh.
Sure.
Okay.
Tell me the story, please. Please tell me that story when we get there on Wednesday or even on Tuesday on Dark. So
I'm
just
sure
so
they'll
that
put together a beautiful package of all of Peter Avalon's wins.
And if you want to give us your beautiful package, please go to streamlabs.com/TimandJoelPod. You can donate some well-deserved money packages to us, and we'll invest it wisely.
Well,
speaking of investments, Miro has a new young boy.
Yeah. Like, we knew he was gonna win. I'm glad he won. Those segments are gonna be awesome for sure. The match a little underwhelming for me because it was all
4 minutes.
Yeah, and it was all Chuck Taylor, and then it was all Miro, and then it was over.
Miro spamming the taunt button at one point.
Yeah. And then his new thing is game over, I guess.
Yep.
I don't know.
Because he's a gamer.
Yeah, I know, but this is not how I thought of Miro as a character. So I'm a little bit, I don't like the direction. I do it a little bit differently. I would have made that match just a match. Because Chuck Taylor had, Best Friends have been putting in work, doing a good job. They had that awesome parking lot match. Having him come out strong against Miro and then not be able to counter anything is a bit odd to me. It just felt a little clunky.
Yeah, clunky is right. But that's what we're going to get. Miro,
gags are going to be choice.
Miro's going to have some good gags. That's what I'm looking forward to. It's going to be funny. I'm going to enjoy it. What I did not enjoy is watching the Inner Circle talk. And you know what? Here's the deal. Pride and Powerful are the tag team. You don't need a triple threat just to figure out who should be challenging for the
if they don't win
titles.
If they don't win next week, I have some serious concerns about where the entire arc for that group is going. I agree. Because it's going to be for all of the criticism we mount against Cody, he still gives people shots. He still helps people out. He even let Britt Baker rip on him like crazy this week, basically saying exactly what we say every single week. Hilarious. He's got at least some humility and a good sense of humor for that. If Jericho wins next week, he's everything that I find wrong with Cody Rhodes, but serious. So I'm concerned about
because at least Cody, tries to tell us that he wears a mask.
Yeah, and he lets people take the piss. Anyone who will allow that to happen, I'm fine in my book. You know, you could be a bit extra, but as long as you can have someone rip on you and be okay with it, fine. Like,
I saw a few people bring this up as well with Hard to Kill coming up on Saturday. There was no real Hard to Kill talk on AEW. I get why it's not an Impact show, but at the same time, your champion is in the main event of their pay-per-view. You've had Gallows and Anderson show up. It's very much like they're trying to tell the story, but they're not wanting to spend as much time getting you into it.
I don't think
it's just there.
It's not really working for me. Like, I'm not, like, when it happened, excitement. The actual execution, isn't it? Impact said Hard to Kill like 8 billion times, so I think they said it enough for the both of them.
It's just there. It's in the ether.
Like, he said it so many times. Like,
and I get it. They said it during like Kenny's entrance. That's fine. I don't know. Maybe I just expected one little thing to put it over. Maybe in a promo backstage when he was talking to the Bucks.
I just don't think there's a lot of legs there. Like, it's tough unless you're going to make this a full thing. The bits, like the Tony bits on Impact every week are still really solid. Like, I like this one again this week. I don't know how Access feels about being called not a real network on their network. I feel like that
was very funny though.
It was so good. So like they're doing stuff to help Impact, but it does feel like they're treating it like Impact's on a lower level, right?
Yeah, and here's the other thing too. Access is owned by Anthem, who owns Impact. So I don't think Access really cares because they know Don Callis and the rest of them are doing this for,
yeah. And this is, like I said, I think Impact's getting a lot out of this. I don't know what AEW is really getting out of it. Like, they got their big moment, which was helpful for sure. So
yeah, my hope is that what they get out of it is maybe some of the women from Impact, some of the knockouts.
That would be amazing. Like, if they can leverage that, I think that would be really exciting.
Yeah. And I know people have been talking about that and whether or not there should be any more cross promotion. I guess we're going to find out soon enough. But with everything the way that it's going with Hard to Kill, whoever wins that match will kind of start setting the pace as to whether or not the other side fires back.
For sure.
Yeah. Let's move on, shall we, to SmackDown. Unless there was something from AEW you wanted to rebook.
Well, there's a couple things that I thought could have been handled a little bit differently. I think that I really, really love the Darby Cage match, but the ending felt a little bit funny to me. I would have still done it, like, pretty much how it happened, minus the crucifix bomb, I guess it was. That was a little crummy to me, and I think it was just like a bit of a missed spot. But like, still have Sting and Ricky do their thing. I would just space it out. Like, give Darby a little bit more time to like fight back, and then end with like the coffin drop or something that felt a little more built and less sudden. But they were probably concerned about hurting Cage's look that way, but like I think it could have taken it. And don't let Sammy Guevara say slut.
Yeah, there are a few things.
Just anyone. Have Santana Ortiz do that bit if you want to do it, or MJF. Like, maybe, I don't know. It just felt like the wrong guy out of that group of 7. Also, what's Wardlow doing? Like,
winning matches.
Yeah, the other 6 of them are going to have a match, but like, he's just going to stand off this side. Okay. Man.
In the chat, you're being asked about your opinion on Jungle Boy's Tarzan Boy theme.
Oh, I really liked it. I like the package. I didn't know if it was new because I feel like I haven't seen Jungle Boy wrestle in I guess it wasn't even a singles match. It was him and Marco. But yeah, I didn't. They
debuted it on Dark, I think, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, which I don't really. Again, I watch 5 shows a week. I'm already overwhelmed. But like, yeah, I like it. I really do. I mean, Did Ruckus do it? Do you know, Joel?
No, like, it's Baltimore. It's his song.
He wrote what?
It's not a Ruckus song. It's an 80s song. It's by Baltimore.
I don't know who Baltimore is.
You've heard this song before. You've heard the song before.
Well, it works. It was a great entrance. I really dug it.
It was. I'm also a big fan. Let's move on to SmackDown, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, first of all, Sonya Deville, by the way, the new assistant to the regional general manager, Adam Pearce.
Yeah, it's a great angle. I'm into that. I have some notes, but I enjoy the direction.
Yeah. And I don't know. I can't wait to see what Sonya is going to do in terms of like the underhanded sneakiness that she's going to bring to that character.
Do you think
I think she's going to. I think she's cost
turned over
Pearce
a
the
new
position.
leaf.
You think so, eh?
I don't know. Like, it felt like a genuine, like, oh, it's been a hard year. I got to turn face now. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's going to be it. I think she's going to turn as things change.
I think there's more weight to that. I think there's a lot more depth that they can explore if that's the direction they take. So I hope you're right. But, you know, it is.
How do you feel about, speaking of general manager Adam Pearce, how do you feel about his #1 contendership and his trip to the island of Relevancy?
It's enough. This is, oh man, the stark contrast between SmackDown and Raw. This is good. I like it. It's a good, interesting trip. I don't know. I assume Kevin Owens will get involved on the pay-per-view, but I'm fine with it. Totally.
Yeah,
okay.
And you know what? The Rumble is about creating stories with your championships, not ending them. And I'm really excited because if you're on social media, Adam Pearce had put a video begging Roman not to do this, that, you know, there are better ways, and then the reply from Roman is perfect. He just says, my show, my locker room, my legacy, my decisions, shut your mouth, show up to work, catch this ass beating. That just line by line, period, at the end of every sentence. Perfect.
That's great. I'm fine with all of this. And they gave us a beautiful rebuilding of Shinsuke as well, which was great because I think he needed that. I want to see it. So
that's right. No more surfing for Shinsuke.
Yeah, get him back in the picture.
Speaking of which, Jey Uso and Shinsuke Nakamura have a match tomorrow night on SmackDown. Should be a banger. We'll find out a few more Royal Rumble participants. Of course, obviously, you can now only declare, unless you're Drew Gulak, everyone else has to, Drew Gulak has to have matches to get into the Rumble. Everyone else can just say, I'm in.
I'm glad they gave him some time. He was allowed to wrestle a match. He wasn't just running around in the back doing the Benny Hill theme stuff. So that's good.
And we'll see who else shows up because I think it's time maybe to see Otis again on screen.
Yeah, well, he's bringing the Alpha program or whatever into the Royal Rumble. So I feel like he's gonna have a bit of a showcase in the Rumble, I bet.
Yeah. And speaking of showcases, you can showcase your love for us by going to streamlabs.com/TimAndJoelPod. You can like this video. You can subscribe to us on YouTube because we love to see it and we love to see you. And you can find me playing video games this weekend, Sunday, not Saturday, but Sunday on Fightful Gaming. That's twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. I will be with Jeremy Lambert and Joe Holbert. We're going to play some beat 'em up video games, Tim.
Which ones? Which beat 'em ups?
I don't know. Whichever ones we can get our hands on.
Turtles in Time.
Actually, yes, that was the one that I pitched.
Well, obviously, it's an easy decision. Or there was, I think the Power Rangers one might be multiplayer. You should hit that out. It's pretty good. There's a few.
Look at that, and we'll look at Battletoads too.
Yeah, obviously. Biker Mice on Mars. Check that out.
Good times. Wow, we're old. Tim, where can the kids find you?
Kids can find me at TimStoneP, TimbStonep on Twitter. Please follow me if you're not a shithead so that I can enjoy Twitter.
Everybody go follow Tim. He is fun. He is good news for everybody. You can follow us at Tim and Joel Pod. You can go to timandjoelpod.com. Really anything. If you just look up Tim and Joel Pod, will probably pop up first. Yeah. And I'm all over social media at Joel Pearl. Not hard to find either. And until then, ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, everyone watching wrestling, tell your friends to tell us, to tell them, to tell your friends and their parents and their dogs and their buddies to start watching more wrestling with us. And until then, enjoy your wrestling. We'll see you next week.